gold.
Oh no, this is like a cheap mead. I saw my ATTI notes, and that's for soil testing.
Huh. So I guess the D&D type setup doesn't have all the cool little markers. Interesting.
What do you mean?
Well, there's less. There was a whole bunch of new symbols and stuff that.
For your tokens, yeah.
Yeah, there's less in this version.
I have not added them to this lobby yet. The colored ones and stuff. Yeah, I have not added them to this lobby. Yeah, they're add-ins. So just to make sure, this is session 1. Can everybody move their tokens on this page? Just don't hit the delete button because you will make them go away forever. I love how
you got to go back to the pointer thing. There you go.
Wait,
I was definitely still on the effects one.
Okay. Now, does my picture disappear on the left side of the screen for you guys? Because when I move over here, my image is no longer there.
Oh yeah, no, I don't see you over there.
You're all the way over on the left, outside the map. It's the new feature. You can go outside.
Yeah, I can see you on the map.
But I moved over here and the picture goes
away.
Oh yeah.
I was
I guess it goes behind the picture.
You're off the book.
But it did. Yeah.
Oh.
It's
stealth mode.
Stealth
mode. See, I can see y'all
It doesn't
over there,
if you go out anywhere. Like I went above. Yeah, anywhere. It doesn't.
Oh. No, it's because we're outside of the grid. Okay. Yeah. Good to know.
You're not on
Don't
the table.
leave the grid.
But it's a
see
great
your name
feature.
and health bar.
I can see you when you're off the grid, so I can hide you over there to make sure you have duplicates that you don't screw up.
Secret.
Yeah, but we can still see names and health bars.
Yeah.
Well,
good to know.
Like flaw in the plan.
Good to know. Yeah, because you got a super micro scale on this landing page.
Yep. So everybody group back up over here.
I don't want to.
Well, I'm going to copy paste everybody so I can make it
know.
in case y'all jack it up and go, I deleted my character.
Barkley.
Because that never happens.
Because that always happens.
Nope, never.
So we copy, and down below, I'm totally going to put a paste down there. You can just leave those ones at the bottom. And I'm going to totally switch maps real quick and paste them on another map.
Dun, dun, dun.
And paste them on another other map. Here we go. So we have duplicates down there just in case. All right. Everybody there? Or everybody's just silent and I'm not hearing anybody?
Oh,
we're there.
I'm here anyways.
Okay, just making sure. Had to do the little sound check to make sure we had everyone's voices, available. So, anybody remember from session 0 our notes for our clan, the Shadowfang Clan, an orc-based clan that apparently has 2 tree people and a god touch that has joined the group?
I remember that much.
Yep.
And one orc.
You have one.
There's an orc in the orc clan?
Oh,
what?
That's weird.
I know,
all the
right?
Other orcs are NPC orcs going zug zug. So we've got the Star-Shaman Song of Planegea, a Stone Age D&D setting. We know that you guys are living in the Nightveil Woods. You are actually accepted by these semi-sentient woods. So accepted that 2 trees decided to join your clan.
Right.
Nice.
I mean, that
Winning.
is pretty damn accepting if some of the trees decide to join you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them, kick them out. The hell with these guys.
Although maybe the trees didn't want us.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean,
But
at
we
least
never
for
know.
now they accept you. I mean, you can always do something horrible and ruin that up for you. So let me see. Let me pull up my notes here. In the local vicinity, you have the primal spirits, or gods, as some people call it in the Nightveil. We've got Nightveil, the Moon Mother. She symbolizes life, guidance, and the twin moon's lights. And since this veil is full of moony goodness, that's a good thing.
Is that a real moony goodness?
Moony goodness. It's totally a thing. Basically, she wants to convince all mortals to swear their fealty to her, which is to be good with the nature. Then you've got Kalroth, the Shadow Stalker. He's not a nice god, but he's basically the embodiment of a giant, scary panther that's got some star shine in his hide, who embodies the ideas of stealth, predation, and survival, which normally you think the Shadowfang clan would like, but not in the way that this cat does it, because it's more of a I murder you in the night. And you guys know from your tribal experience that this god wants you to kill rival gods and bring back its divine ivory so it can eat it and get stronger. Definitely a douchey god.
No doubt.
Then we have Silthra, the Whispering Wind, who is a slightly weaker spirit, has a smaller domain out in the woods. You guys totally know out in the woods generally where its domain is, and it's basically a wind that blows through the forest that communicates. Its aspects are secrets, communication, and transformation. And you know that its god, from a general basis of the tribe shaman saying, here's what the god wants, is that the god wants to have shrines or altars erected in its greatness to help spread its strata or region. And then you've got Morvalis, the Warden of Night, who actually is the Shadowfang clan's kind of semi-patron god. He is the Warden of Night, specializing in protection, vengeance, and the balance between light and dark. Basically a big, giant, scary wolf, aka Shadowfang, with teeth as black as obsidian, but eyes that glow like moonlight. And he wants to make him happy. If you want to ever, donate to his, power, he wants his followers to slay a beast in his honor or her honor. We're not quite sure, or to protect their faithful. So if somebody drops to their knees and calls out for aid, and you defend that person who's swearing for help for Morvalis, you actually can garner favor by protecting the weak and the faithful. Because this god is more of a alpha wolf in regards to a good pack leader, not a douchey alpha persona. Of you protect those that are part of the pack. And, this wolf spirit is always trying to extend what that means.
Nice.
And then we've got the slightly less known and slightly less used spirit of Vixala, the Star-Eyed Oracle, which is basically this cool owl, a giant owl that glows like moonlight whenever it flies around, and has a whole flock of mini owls that look like it in its area. But it is a very local place where you would find the spirit at the top of the tallest tree in its area. It has a very small, what they call strata, which is their sphere of influence. And you know that mostly the god wants people to earn its respect, to endure harrowing mystical vigils or a vision of some kind, like vision quests. By the way, the owl scares the shit out of everyone who sees it. Totally think the owl from The Secret of Nim. If you get the reference, the
That's
super
awesome.
creepy hour that all of a sudden you're realizing you just feel fear in its presence. And then we've got the biggest, most prevalent spirit in the Nightveil forest, which is Thrysara, the Root Father. Also kind of why you have a living forest that moves randomly. It's a giant tree spirit. Think of it like a treant, but hitting the god level. And basically, he wants folks to alter the landscape in ways that please him, which can change from time to time. Most of your tribe thinks the idea is that anytime you see a tree that's burnt, you need to make sure to plant one of its seeds to grow and take its place.
He wants a shrubbery.
The night Susani.
And supposedly, if you go to the seat of where the Root Father resides, usually he's slumbering. But even at night, it seems to be the grove where it resides seems to glow as if it was daylight. So it's kind of easy to know when you step in his area. But if you ever want to piss him off, basically chop down a tree in his presence. Most of your tribe still operates on the basis of we collect dead and dying wood, which is very prevalent in the forest, especially in a forest where the trees get up and walk. So it's not hard to find dead wood to keep your fires going or to build your huts. So chopping trees is one of the things that your tribe does very, very rarely. And only if you're told by the shaman that you have the blessing to do it. Because you never know when one of those trees is going to, get up and walk on two legs and come join you guys.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah. Please don't burn us.
Needless to say, since two of the party members happen to be living trees, the shaman thinks that this is a blessing, and it means good omens for the next year or so. Since it is a beautiful spring and the tribe has had some new members join that are of the photosynthesizing folk.
Speaking of this wonderful pantheon and stuff, are any like sunlight gods or anything?
A
lot of dark gods.
The closest thing to daylight would be the Root Father.
Are we supposed to be able to see the documents in the journal tab that are called the Shadowfang Clan and also other clans and Night? Well, actually, never mind. Yeah, those two.
I was gonna say you should totally be able to see them, but I have nothing in them at the moment.
Okay, gotcha.
OMG.
That would be
why they come up as blank.
Yes, indeed.
Because session 1.
Session 1.
So, since you all have known each other for a while, long enough to at least trust each other as a close cadre of friends, or at least, you realize that some of these folks are very dependable, so they're totally worth keeping around because dependable folks are important.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Feel free to introduce yourself. Anyone want to volunteer, or shall I just pick from left to right on my screen?
I can go. I'm easy enough. Got Tree, who is obviously a Dreas of the linden tree origin. He is a ascetic, which is basically a subclass of monk, and he kind of looks like the picture. I really hadn't had a chance to play around yet with like background per se, but he did come wandering in out of the forest. You will find that he enjoys the small creatures of the forest and can pretty much identify every bird and insect by its song. So you will hear him listening and concentrating to those things and will point them out as he hears them. So, and does play flute, not so well, but can play a flute, and will carve. You'll see him carving little figurines of birds and insects.
And how long have you been with the clan?
I don't know, probably 2 or 3 months. So a matter of minutes in the lifespan, I'm sure. Up a tree.
The important thing is everybody likes
I'm assuming so. I mean, with a -1 charisma modifier, maybe.
you.
Not the best looking tree. Oh, that was the other thing. Yes, so he looks much like that, except that he does have a crossed body. You can see some dark, burnt, scarred areas across his body in that.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Your tree nature has some history there.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Cool.
does not real keen on fires.
Which totally annoys you that the group has a clan fire that they always keep burning, because that's what you do in Planegea. You have a clan fire as your meeting hall, your inn, your tavern, and your capital of power.
Yes.
It just means you sit far away from it. That's all.
But it's maintained at least. But yes, so I would have explained it at basically a mortal who had burned down half of the forest area, and yes, I survived that. And the person walked away from said incident they occurred, and yeah, if I find that person, yeah, there would be some retribution. So it's part of why I have become mobile.
I mean, the whole tribe totally agrees. It's like, dude, burn down trees. You know our stance.
Yeah.
We're all about saying, yeah, let's go ahead and find him and plant a seed in his belly button and cast some magic on that seed.
Yes. So a little revenge there.
That would appease 2 gods at once.
Yeah,
right.
It'll appease the Shadowfang's patron and the patron of the entire woods.
Yep. So that's Pricey.
And speaking of patrons, by the way, if you guys have noticed in the Dungeon Master's Guide, there's actually rules to if you patronize the gods in a non-patronizing way, but in the way that gives them favor.
God, I hope not.
There's actually a mechanic at higher levels that will give you rewards for doing it. Like you'll get blessings and things like that, or possible magic items. If you've ever used the setting book Theros, they use that a lot in the Greek gods with them. But in this setting, these early primordial spirits, if you make them happy, they will totally dote on you and give you magic items. Because in this primordial world, there isn't like dwarven runesmiths making a bunch of magic stuff. Most magic stuff is actually something that's either a piece of a god that they broke off, or a piece of a dead god that's been found that's been imbued with power.
Cool.
And when it comes to the setting, just remember that everything is primal here. So, like natural ones with weapons, don't be surprised if weapons break, because everything is Stone Age and everything is crap. But thankfully, your tribe, for some reason, has a large amount of flint always at the ready. I think it's just because the plants really like you and they pull the flint out of the ground so they can walk through it. But that's just me. So who would like to go next? Silence means I'm going to have to call out Star, who's the first one in my list.
Okay, fine, whatever. Scar. Apparently, he's the only orc in the party from an orc tribe, which means either they don't like him or I don't know.
Well, it could just be this is a great way to set yourself ahead of everyone else. That you're accepting all these outsiders and proving that everyone's orc on the inside.
Yeah. Now Scar is the nephew of the chief, and he's basically raised to protect the clan. I mean, there's really not much to him. He's an orc. He's not all that bright. Not stupid, but he's definitely not bright. And has the common sense of a toad, apparently.
Hey, when you're in a primitive barbarian, place in a very Neanderthal world, those are survival traits that are worth keeping.
That's right.
And the shaman, cursed him because, he's trying to piss off the chieftain. So, yeah. He has to break the curse, whatever the curse is.
I mean, I always love it from the Willow point of view when the magic user in the tribe, basically says, "It just make up the curse, because, it made shit happen."
It makes shit happen.
Without this, all the orcs would just sit around drinking, and instead, we're having shit happen.
Yeah. And hey, curses make things interesting.
They sure do.
Is it a curse or a blessing in disguise?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, they gotta blame anything that bad, happens to the clan on something.
Yep.
I mean, hell.
And yes, you've grown up knowing that they will always find a reason to blame something for something bad happening.
Aww.
Yeah.
One of those primitive, superstitious folks that something bad happens, someone was to blame. Now go fix it. It's like every story that involves Loki.
Yeah, so he's basically like a fighter headed toward the champion subclass.
Hey, it's a good solid build.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, that means that you'll be a champion of the tribe.
Yep.
That is important.
If you don't get eaten by a dinosaur or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Or some ambulatory tree.
So who would like to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
Unless you want to. I just didn't want the two trees to go back to back.
Gotta space them out a little.
Exactly.
Make it interesting.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay, so Barkley is a youngest tree, and despite what people think, is absolutely no relation to Pry Tree. Barkley is a
That's okay. Nobody thinks that except for you.
is a sweet chestnut.
Well, all those trees look alike, right?
Exactly. It was brought to, so there was a druid who came into the grove seeking refuge because the clan he formerly was in found out he was a druid and decided they didn't want him around because their shaman and gods didn't like him because he's a filthy god leech. So he came to our clan because orcs are more tolerant of that kind of person.
Right.
And in seeking refuge, he made friends with Barkley before Barkley was sentient. But then he made the mistake of being too druidy, and draining too much power from the gods. And the gods decided they wanted. The spirits decided they didn't want him around anymore. Long story short, too late. Barkley protected him, and in gratitude, he made Barkley sentient. He pulled Barkley out of his roots, and Barkley is confused and very young. Barkley's like a toddler. It's fascinated with everything. It wants to learn everything. It's just everything is new and exciting to it. And it wants to grow up to be a great tree spirit like the root father. And nobody's going to tell it can't.
And just as a side note, in this setting, every time a druid casts a spell, it drains 1 point from a god in the area that he's casting the spell.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So if you're ever looking for a quick fix on getting some divine favor, kill a druid, and pretty much every god in the immediate vicinity will thank you for it.
Except for me. Don't kill me.
It's not as bad as magic in our other game.
Oh, and corruption in Runes of Symbaroum. Every spell kills you a little bit at a time.
Oh, perfect. Love to see it. All right.
And of course, magic is raw and primal in this setting.
Or unpredictable.
Yep. And that leads us to our guide touched. Talk about unpredictable.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, Dakauti is indeed a god marked. She has antlers to sort of mark that, I suppose. She's also a chanter. She came to the Shadowfang clan as a captive at first, but sort of just ended up over the course of probably also a couple months, just like integrating into the clan by proving herself useful and decided to stick around.
Don't you love it when you're a captive and slowly you just realize they just stop locking the door? They're just like,
exactly.
Isn't she your little sister? I thought she was your little sister.
Yeah, there's a name for that, but that's all right. Stockholm syndrome, but you know.
Well, you see.
When your adopted family treats you better than your own family.
Exactly. That it gets a little bit more complicated.
And on the plus side, you guys, you guys all realize your tribe has a very old chieftain. He is like, you know that any year
50.
could be his last year. But he is very well loved with his power of charisma and the fact that he embodies your totem god, that he believes in protecting the pack. That's how you guys have survived in the Nightveil Woods. That's how you've been accepted by the wolves, because your chieftain for decades has embodied your god in regards to, he protects, rather than just butcher somebody that's there in the way, he will actually protect them, much like you realize the fact he's okay with letting usually undesirable types into the clan.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of your chieftains, saving graces, or his worst flaw is he's willing to give people second chances, and he's willing to accept those that would normally be shunned and sent away to die in the woods.
Oh,
good for him.
And then you've got your saucy shaman, who he likes to be in charge, even though he's not the chieftain. He likes to think he's in charge. So there's just kind of a friendly power tug between the two of them. It's not like, undermining. It's not like a vizier trying to manipulate the sultan type of deal. But the shaman thinks, he always thinks he knows best.
Hmm.
Which is usually the first time somebody, causes problems, or the first time an omen points against them. We should send them away. Let the forest reclaim them. It'll make the root father happy.
So he believes in 0 chances.
He believes in second chances will get you killed.
He cursed a baby, for crying out loud.
And on the plus side, there is no chanter in your tribe except for your party member.
Right.
Ooh.
Nice.
The old chanter happened to have passed away the winter before your new chanter showed up. So that was another reason why your chief was like, "Oh yeah, you can totally stay."
That was awfully convenient. How'd you
Yeah.
We need,
Right.
a young, inexperienced chanter is better than no chanter at all.
Yeah. So you're all fancy, like third in renown in the place, whatever.
As,
Of course.
as your friend chanter is constantly going between the shaman and the chief to get stories, to make sure that you've got the retinue of stories to tell the clans at the fire meets.
Oh yeah.
And everybody, of course, you have experienced that everyone tries to put their twist and perspective on the stories to help put their narrative forward. Like the chief wants to push the tales of the wolves that adopted the first orcs amongst your tribe. Yes, I'm totally stealing Ramos and Remus for your tribe. 2 twin orc children were suckled at a she-wolf and brought to strong strength. And because of this is why your tribe is open to adoption.
I like that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Playing with the practical effects.
Yep.
So is the chief orc or is the chief human?
The chief is orc.
Okay.
He is, and he is. You know for sure that he is related to your orc compatriot.
Right.
He's only 2 bad winters away from inheriting the chiefdom if he wanted it, or 1 challenge and fight. But so far, nobody in your tribe has wanted to challenge the old chieftain.
Well, he seems like a good guy.
I mean, that option is out there if you want to challenge him for leadership of the tribe. But nobody seems to want to do it. Even though he is a tough old bird, he is well liked.
Yeah. Well, right now he'd still kick your ass, so don't do it.
He totally does that. I'm an old chieftain, and then when he pulls off the shirt, he ends up being ripped with an 8-pack.
Oh yeah, buff as hell.
I mean, you don't get to be 50 in this day and age without being a little bit,
especially as an orc,
right? And chief of the clan, so.
And you guys know from most of your experience with these orcs, most of them are the lead from the front type of leadership, as opposed to the, give orders and stay back at the camp.
Nice.
Respectable.
And speaking of the camp, until the forest moves again, this is what your camp kind of looks like. It's a little more spread out with people, basically putting little hammocks around the place. Now the question is, where would you like to put your camp, the campfire?
Ooh.
Since it is
right next to Prey Tree.
There's no clearing. So it's
I was thinking the same thing.
There's the lake.
Why can't
around the be like right here.
I would ping it. Yeah, I'm trying to ping there, but for some reason I can't ping right now. What the hell?
Yeah.
Was that a special effect I just saw?
Yeah.
It's a long
off.
hold. Yeah, it's not a quick. You gotta hold it for.
Yeah, it's not working. It was working earlier. I don't know what I did.
Check your left side. Make sure you actually have the pointer up
I
top.
do.
Yeah, but there's two options on that, so.
Nope, I have it.
I think there was.
Text, measure, dice.
So,
And
I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's burn that one hut down.
I mean, it's by the lake, so if it gets out of control, then.
Yep.
See, your tribe is very sensible of not burning the forest down, so maybe that's why they put it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they definitely don't have good fire breaks built into the area.
Well, when the trees start walking and moving in the middle of the night, it's kind of hard.
Right?
And I'm not talking about the two that live inside the village.
What did I do? Oh, well.
This must be the main wigwam. Where all the important stuff happens.
Someone roll me 2d6.
Oh, I could do that.
Wow.
That works.
Somebody else roll me a d4.
Anybody? Somebody? Mm-hmm.
Here, I got it.
All right.
Ooh.
All right, we got 1 and we got 12, or max and a min.
Min and max.
Well, we're learning who to have roll and who not to.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. One might be good.
That's true.
So currently in your tribe's breakdown, you've got 32 members. That includes your chieftain and your shaman. You have one elder and one notable member, one elder.
Oh.
And one notable member, which I believe you guys picked to be your weapon maker. Is that right?
I think it was like a crafter or something, yeah.
One elder, though. Don't live long.
Well,
is the elder the chief?
The elder is
including
not
the
the
chieftain
chief.
and the shaman.
Yeah, this is separate from them.
Yep.
So 2 elders.
Well, he's the chief, so he doesn't count.
Yeah.
He's the chief. Makes him better than just an elder. Which is not bad. You only have one elder to worry about in the village.
Yeah.
Even though your village looks after those in need, you only have one surviving elder. And it totally could be that, hey, maybe some of your elders put themselves in bad positions to benefit the tribe. That could totally be a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, maybe they take the long walk so that way they don't become a detriment to the tribe.
Oh.
Or maybe they sacrifice themselves to one of the gods. It could be a thing. You know, they look at their palm and it turns red and they say, renew.
Yeah, that might be too old of a movie for some.
That is totally an old and classic and great movie.
Oh, yeah.
Logan's Run.
Yeah.
You turn 30 and you
Crappy
have to
TV
die.
show, though.
Oh, the TV show sucked.
Yeah.
I don't
But then
think I
again,
saw the TV show.
that was an era when you just needed a decent movie and you could get money from a studio to make a TV show for at least 2 seasons.
Pretty much.
And you guys know that every 2 or 3 months, you guys will break down your camp and move as the forest moves with it, since your tribe has decided to become part of the Nightveil, basically. Whereas other tribes will leave and migrate for winter to like the Happy Plains, you guys actually stay with the Nightveil Woods and basically change with the seasons with it. Which thankfully the woods kind of migrate to stay out of the worst of the winters.
Nice.
Going with the flow.
Because, hey, it's worked for your tribe so far, so why change it?
Yeah.
And is there any particular things that you guys are wanting or working on in the tribe currently? We know it's beautiful and springtime, and we do need to, let's not forget your clan has a magic totem. What does this totem look like? What is it?
Well, we're predominantly the wolf dude, right?
Uh-huh.
Probably something based off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I would think.
And where in your tribe is the magic totem placed? Because remember, when you cast magic in the presence of the totem, it does give you an extended range.
Yeah.
I'm clicking, but it's not working.
Did you refresh the page?
Yeah, let's try
You
that.
may want to refresh.
No, the music went away.
Well, because, yes, it's refreshing.
Yeah, but
Don't die. Don't
Easy.
die. Oh, I saw
Yeah,
a ping
easy
down over
there.
where you guys are.
it's the wrong color.
Well, but if you got a ping, it's at least a ping.
Yep.
There we go.
Why?
Now, if I have to redo the color every time, that's going to be annoying.
Shouldn't.
Huh.
Oh.
I found a cool totem picture, and when I tried to drop it in there, do you guys see it?
Oh.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I posted one in
Glows in the
chat,
dark.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull up the chat so I can see that one
but
and
I
see
don't
how.
see. I'm trying to.
Ooh,
Where
that
did
is a
you?
nice one.
Yeah.
And thank you for whoever put the picture of the owl from The Secret of Nim.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Very important.
Creepy owl.
Crazy owl, scary owl. Yeah, I don't see your other one. Or where
Yeah,
you posted.
I put it on Roll20 in the map and it disappeared.
Oh.
But yours is much better, so we will use that
Other than the little crayon in the bottom, but oh well.
Well,
But you could probably
we
Who's
trim
assume
that up.
that's not part of the totem.
one.
No,
Who's gonna see that once I paste it in there as a icon size?
exactly.
But we'll know it's there.
In our hearts.
Let's see. Probably right there.
Where?
Probably somewhere, yeah, near,
Yeah.
like
Near
That's
the
nice.
up
the
in
main
here
hall.
somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But still
Over there,
or even
connected to the
here.
forest.
Yeah.
like that. And we know from tribal knowledge and lore with the magic totem, it is the symbol or shared focus of the clan's power and reverence. It can be tied to either arcane or divine magic and is useful for casting spells. Powerful totems can even increase spell levels within certain range.
Oh, what's the
nice.
range?
So if you want to do any magic in front of the totem, that would be a good thing.
What's the range on it?
Basically anything within about 30 feet of the totem.
Oh, okay. Not that big then.
Just enough that it would get you guys in trouble. See, there you go. Look at that.
What's
That's
that?
some great range. Let me
Perfect.
see that. Probably didn't. Do you guys see the circle?
Nope.
Nope.
Mm,
There
oh,
we
Okay, there we
there's
go.
the circle.
Very
That is the
nice.
range of the totem's blessings.
All right.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh.
I mean, hey, you can practically sit next to the fire and use the totem's effects.
Oh, he does his lecturing from here if he's doing any magic, or the shaman does, yeah.
Because that's how you make yourself look more impressive and all powerful. And out of character knowledge, you as the players will know that you're going to be dealing with the Throne of Nightmares, because we picked that as our big bad for the session
Yep.
0. Basically, it's the realm of nightmares, whereas Nod is a dream where elves come from. The Throne of Nightmares is basically where the drow elves come from and nightmares. And currently, the only two you need to really worry about will be both the. Let me see. Did I write it down? I believe I did.
At least they won't have their hand crossbows.
Don't you have?
What a fucking toothpick launchers,
Then-
Jesus.
Yeah, but the poison's the killer.
Yeah, the poison's the killer.
The bastards. Jim will have them have the Atlas or whatever with poison. Knowing him.
Atlatl.
Yeah, that too.
Oh,
That's
boy.
the
Spear
look at how
chuckers.
it's
Spear chuckers at them.
Spear launchers. Yes.
Yeah.
Why look,
Which would
we'll
be
have
even
extra
worse.
range.
I think I'd rather deal with the hand crossbows than those, but
Queen in the middle of the night. And you guys know, as members of the tribe who's been living in the forest, that some of the perils of the Nightveil Woods are basically there are disciples of darkness, which is what you guys call the very large panther-like creatures that seem to teleport. It looks like, or they use illusions when they attack. Basically, very scary panthers out there. There are shadow wolves, which seem to be highly intelligent pack wolves, which usually your tribe doesn't like to kill them, but if you have to kill them to defend yourself, it's totally understandable. Just say a little quick prayer to the god to make sure he doesn't take it personal, because they are supposedly descended from when the spirit made babies with regular wolves. And then there are moon serpents, which are luminescent venomous snakes. There's a couple different species that live out here. Some are, rattlesnake-ish. Others have like weird wings and fly, which is even weirder, but it's creepy when you see glow-in-the-dark flying snakes. Giant bats are fairly common in the woods. It is not a good place to be in the moving forest when the giant bats get disturbed from their roosts. Think about a flock of a dozen of these guys when the tree they're sleeping on starts to walk away. Predating on the giant bats are the nocturnal giant owls, also supposedly descended from the owl spirit, but probably not because they don't seem very magical. But that's what the shamans like to tell you. As you see these giant owls that don't make a sound, just swoop in the darkness. Supposedly, I'm going to totally steal the actual real taboo that amongst your people, waking up and seeing a giant owl first thing in your day or night is always seen as a taboo that someone is going to die.
Oh, nice.
Because it's just too good of a taboo to not use. And then you have the shadow hawks, which are mysterious streak black hawks that live in the forest and hunt small things. And then there is the very rare almost mythical. We're talking like chupacabra mythical-ish nightwings, which are basically furry panther-like creatures that have bat wings.
That's not disturbing at all.
No, not at all.
Flying snakes and flying panthers.
Right?
As long as there's no flying pigs.
Everybody tells you that any of the scary, furry, feline-looking things all come from Kalroth, the Shadow Stalker, because obviously he got with something at one point and made some kind of creepy baby.
Like
But
Loki?
creepy panthers with bat wings surely don't exist. They surely don't exist.
Surely
they don't exist.
Very reassuring.
Of course.
And of course, then you have your normal slew of things in the forest, which are the awakened trees and awakened shrubs. Basically, it's slightly more intelligent versions of the ones that you see when the trees just naturally move, and not quite as intelligent and ambulatory as your teammates. They just usually will come out, and if you see someone start a fire in the woods, they will stomp the person and the fire into nothing. You know of the axe beaks, which are giant birds, basically think ostrich size, that have a very large, pronounced beak that's shaped like a stone axe, that usually hunt in packs. Totally think of velociraptors. You have
or whatever they're called.
Terror birds.
Terror birds, yeah. You have the bloodhawks, which is another species of hawk, which is actually a good omen. You got your orcish clan loves their feathers because it's hawks that have literally bright blood red feathers that go from brownish red to bright red, and you guys love adorning your armor and equipment in this tribe with those colors. It's totally a cool thing to maybe domesticate one if you can find a baby and animal handle that shit. And you've also got your typical boar. You know, you call them, of course, I'm assuming the spine, because we'll use, a different term. Big, hairy things that have orc-like teeth and noses, but run on all four.
Oh, it's not the children of the clan?
Nope.
Little toddlers.
There are further rumors and myths about, the dreamy elf folk, but there's the nightmarish, dark-skinned version of them that exist in the realm of Twilight. Totally don't exist. Nothing but rumors. That's all they are. Just rumors. They totally will exist.
Of course not.
Every time you tell us something doesn't exist, I assume we're going to fight it.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's no way.
There are giant insects like centipedes and wasps and other insects and swarms of smaller ones. You know that there are rival tribes out in these woods, so you're not the only ones out here. You're just the ones that the forest likes, which that is a good thing.
One of those clans have some asshole burned it down. Said one of those clans burned it down.
The occasional dinosaur out there that just sucks in general, but most of them stick to the plains. There's only the rare ones that like to hang around in your area.
Oh, Alice?
Mm-hmm. And any of the
don't know the reference?
Birds,
come on.
Yep, that's Land of the Lost right there. Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Any of the terror birds are basically honored by you orcs. That's just a cultural thing in Planegea, that orcs in general appreciate all of the hunter-style birds, and there are many lavish rituals with your tribe to like hunt one down and stuff like that as your like proof of a peak in your life. And you just know that lots of the orcs in the tribes have the feathers mixed in with their hair and their armor. So that's totally a thing. If you can bring some of those feathers back, it's totally great barter items.
Kidoki.
And as just a basic taboo, if there's any creature that looks like shadow or darkness, it's bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, of course.
That one's easy to follow, at least.
I mean, you live in the Nightveil, but if anything's starkly pitch black scary, it's bad. So on a typical midday, the sun is out, shining off the water. Some of your tribesmen are sitting there with spears, trying to fish some of the fish out of the pond here. Others are working on different crafts. Your chanter friend, I'm sure, just finished telling a story by the campfire, which is a centerpiece to your tribe's existence. What would all of you guys normally be doing?
Probably patrolling.
So you would be out patrolling at like the edge of the camp to make sure nothing's slithering, crawling, or flying to cause trouble?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, this is a daily occurrence, so it totally makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
I would
probably a little time walking.
Oh. Go ahead, sorry.
Right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh. I was going to say, I would probably be standing in the sun, watching the fishermen and asking a lot of questions, which loudly disturbing the fish.
As some of the fishermen just kind of like nod, and they totally are getting accustomed to your ways, and it's not like you eat fish anyway, so they kind of just kind of let you be you, and they're just like that's totally acceptable.
Nice.
And the fishers aren't very happy because I probably spend at least a short time during daylight down by the lake trying to play the flute.
Trying. I like that, trying.
Keyword trying.
Meditating.
At least he's honest.
Well, let's see. Hey, look at that. Good day.
Well, trying
That's
pretty
a damn
well.
good flute day.
Even with the disadvantage.
Yeah.
Your flute music is definitely growing on people, is what that reflects.
Except for
People
some
are listening
days.
to your flute music and they're just like, okay, we're starting to understand this.
It's an acquired taste.
As you guys, you're kind of all spread out, and you guys hear some arguing coming from the chief's hut. Where he usually has everyone come to his hut, get his hospitality, where his daughter will help, feed everybody and give everybody some good, orcish Shadowfang hooch that you guys make.
Hooch.
We don't know exactly what was fermented, but if you keep adding fermentables into the pot, it makes hooch.
Gets you.
That is the tribal word for it. It's with more G's, U's, and H's than it should have for English, but it's pronounced hooch.
As long as no mastication's involved.
Nobody asked the brewer women of this, and it's a proud tradition to make this. Nobody really wants to know how it's made. And you guys,
Ruins the magic.
You kind of hear some heated conversation, which is rare for the tribe. Usually, heated conversations get calmed down real quick, or they turn into a wrestling match outside to see who's right.
That's how orcs are.
There is a law of the survival of the fittest amongst the orc tribes, and it works out. You guys have totally realized there's a new sport that's been made where people will tie 2 vines to 2 orcs on the north side of this pond, and they play tug of war to see who goes in the water to prove who was wrong. Your chief is working on non-violent resolution solutions.
Except for their piranha in the pond.
Right.
Forgot about him.
It makes them taste so much better. So is anybody gonna like skulk by the chief's tent to listen in, or nobody interested until the chief's gonna come out and tell everybody?
I think I absolutely will do some eavesdropping.
Me too.
Wow.
That's new and exciting and interesting.
As you guys start to eavesdrop and you hear, obviously they're eating some dried leaf preserved foods that crunch, possibly dehydrated leaves themselves. And one of you give me a perception check, or both of you, or one can give advantage to the other.
If you want to do it, I'll give you advantage.
All right, sure.
As you guys are walking along, almost, together, giving each other looks when you hear the noise.
Mischief 2. I see it now.
Okay. Got a 10 for the first one, 13 for the second one, so it'll be 16.
Did you roll on the...
Oh, no, I just have physical dice in front of me, but I can roll on the chat next time.
Physical dice, that's Maxie, just saying. So you had a solid 16 with advantage?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys get kind of close, but not like too interferingly close. I mean, it's a hut. You can hear through the walls. It's definitely not enough skins and tapestries to make it soundproof. And you hear the shaman arguing with the chief, kind of going back and forth, and then the shaman kind of volunteers one of the orc warriors to speak up and say something, and you can hear from the noise that the orc warrior is very hesitant to speak up, especially when the chief is saying, if it's something important, the gods will tell us about it. And the shaman's just like, nope, this is something important. And as you guys silently listen in, the orc warrior seems to get a little brave with the shaman's nudging, from what it sounds like. As you can hear his armor's being poked by the shaman. as all of a sudden the warrior says, Chief, what the shaman has said is true. Yesterday was the night of the black moon, and the sky was dark with no moonlight whatsoever from the twin sisters. When I was out hunting, I discovered a place far to the south where there was strange noises, and I was afraid. I was fearful as I got separated from my brothers, and I swore I was being stalked by Koloroth himself, for I felt nothing but the snap of branches and sticks as something that could not be seen in the shadows was stalking me. And I tried to be brave. I tried to be like you, chieftain, and face the darkness with bravery and courage in my heart. But I, and you can practically taste his shame as his voice drops down to a barely perceptible, I grew fearful and threw my spear in the direction of the darkness. And then I ran for many, many moments, because we can't count higher than 9 in this world. And I came to a place where I saw the dark shadows of the dark moon casting strange symbols in the darkness. And as I looked up, I saw the earth had opened up, and rocks with strange markings burst through the earth, as if the earth felt its evil and seeked to remove it like a diseased sore, and it burst from the earth and captured the dark moon's reflection in the sky. And the shaman, you just hear him like, preach it, I'm telling you. And he's throwing out all these phrases you guys don't quite recognize. However, if our chanter would like to roll a history, you might recognize something.
Not great at that, but let's see. Solid 6.
6. Yeah, he's throwing out terms you've never heard before, and you're just like, tell me more. Where's the I would like to hear more button? As these are phrases that you haven't quite heard before. You're not sure if it's a person, a place, or a thing, but he starts mentioning like for sure what the warrior is saying. He's basically backing him up like, yes, the throne of Twilight is returned to plague the woods. The Twilight Vale are their playgrounds before our chosen protector cleared away their darkness, turning his fangs black with their corruption as he drank their blood and stole their powers. And the chieftain immediately, you hear him look at the shaman saying, first off, you're scaring all of the leaders of this council. Second off, you're wrong. The warden of night is not a he, but she is a she-wolf, and she is the guardian spirit. I believe she is the mother of our forefathers. And you can totally tell they get into their little religious tiff of how they want to translate the old stories and what exactly Morvalis is. Because, your chieftain is totally a romantic and says that it's a she spirit. And your shaman is totally macho dude and says he spirits. And it's been a tale as old as time between these two. Because, of course, a certain member of your party totally has recounted you with the story that your chieftain recalls once that his second bride was actually the orc embodiment of Morvalis, because he met her out in the woods on a dark night, and then she shapeshifted into a wolf and ran away afterwards. She totally wasn't a druid. She was totally the wolf spirit coming to make whoopee with him and then turn into a wolf and go away.
Of course.
Can't help it. He's a likable fellow and a romantic.
So I'm gonna...
An optimist, for better or worse.
So you guys have a moment of silence as they're having their little bickering that is basically the tale as old as time between these two. It's probably the one bone of contention they have, and the one thing they don't agree on is the two powers of the tribe.
I'm going to lean over to I am so bad with names.
Okay. Decauti?
Yeah, Decauti.
Yeah,
sorry.
for sure.
Thank you.
You're
to
good.
Decaudi's ear. Oh, it's written right there under your thing. Decaudi's ear.
Oh, yeah.
And
but names are
not whisper. What's the night thing he was saying that scared him? What is that?
The Black Moon? Kalroth? What? It was Kalroth, right?
That's the spirit, yeah. But he mentioned something of it sounded to your ears like something of nightmares.
Yeah.
But with that history roll, you've never heard of it mentioned before. It's a story you don't know. It almost might be something that would be interesting that you might want to know about.
Yeah.
Somebody's
but
been withholding a story from you?
It's a new story to me. Can't say I've heard of it.
Well, you should find out.
I should.
And tell me the story.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
And then as you guys are having your little moment chatting with each other, all of a sudden the shaman opens the flap to the hut, and he immediately goes to his hut, which is the one right next door. Obviously, this makes the chieftain and shaman even more rivalry-like, because they live next door to each other. They totally give that grumpy old men vibe with each other. As the shaman is walking past you guys, does anybody want to say anything? I mean, as the chanter, you have a pretty decent relationship with him.
Yeah. I will speak up. I'll say, I heard a strange story being told in there by one of our hunters.
And immediately when you say it like that, he kind of gives you the squinty eye and basically goes up to his hut and holds the flap open and gestures for you two to come inside.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Sure.
You guys, slip into his hut, and he immediately pulls some food that he has sitting on a slow little tiny fire inside his hut that has the hut all smoky, and it has this very heavy, almost like saffrony smell inside there of the different drying herbs and things. His hut's more of a combination smokehouse for the herbs than it is anything else. As he sits you guys down in the comfortable spots, and yes, as the chanter, you know which one's the comfortable spots, and which one's the spots where the shaman purposely puts rocks underneath the hides to make it not comfortable. This way he can totally say that the spirits are cranky. And he sits down and kind of grumpily, slips some water into a little clay bowl and sips it, and then passes the clay bowl over you guys as he starts to chew on some dried meat, and passes the dried meat, giving the vague ceremonial feel of you're being included in something. Do you partake of the water and the meat?
Yeah. It's part of the ceremony.
The water, and I pretend to partake of the meat.
Nom nom nom.
Just out of politeness.
Yes.
I've been practicing what chewing is. Nom nom nom.
And then when he's not looking, spit it into a plant.
As he looks at you guys and says, "So, my young storyteller and my forest friend, you have keen ears, I see." And he kind of squints at you and totally gives you the appraising, almost like fatherly up and down, seeing what you're up to. And yes, that's totally his insight check without his bonus.
Uh-huh.
What is it that you would like to know more of about these stories?
The creature that our hunter mentioned, it's unlike anything I've ever heard of. And then you named many terms that I was not familiar with.
Wow, you do have keen ears. As he sits down, and you totally see him grab his little medicine pouch, which has like 3 or 4 mini pouches in it, and he sprinkles some stuff in his hands and does the very dramatic froth the powder over the fire cinders, and immediately you get these colored sparks and great showmanship out of him. As he says,
Yeah.
you wish to know stories that you have not been told. And that was his performance role. It's apparently not as cool as it sounds.
Oh.
You're used to his performance, and you're just like, yeah, you taught me that trick. As he says, I fear it is a great sign that the other night was the night of the black moon. And he goes over and he pulls out some hides that have hand painted markings on them. Because of course in the world of Planegea we do not have written word, because then hellhounds rise up and eat you. And he shows that in the night sky this will symbolize drawing with stars, and there are 3 moons in the night sky. You know of the twin sisters. The pale light of each of them graces us. And on one night each month, not that we count that high, both of them in the cycle of the moons will shine down upon us and bless our tribe. But on one night of the year, the twin sisters both hide behind their old sister, the dark moon. And it shows a big black circle in place of the 2 light circles. And she is a fickle mistress of nightmares and anger. And I, in fact, this night had a dream, a poor dream of the woods turning against us. And this was no mere bad piece of fish or spoiled piece of fruit. But I sensed this was in fact a dream either cursed upon me or gifted upon me. If it was gifted upon me, I think our chosen savior, Morvalis, I believe he, and you notice he emphasizes the he for the wolf spirit, gifted me with a warning that there's an imbalance between the dark and the light, and we need to protect our tribe and bring everyone in close for protection. But unfortunately, if this was a curse brought to me by Calaroth, the Shadow Stalker, it could be that the Shadow Stalker is admitting he will grow stronger and he will hunt us one by one, like the sleek beast of shadow does against the pack in the wild. And he does this horrible moment where he does this quick little ritual that he to ward away the evil spirit. He doesn't do a very good job of it with that crappy religious roll of 8.
Bro,
he's like
come on, man.
5. He's really like upset, it looks like. So he's like half-assing the ritual to keep the shadow spirit from sneaking into the huts and stealing the children and himself, because that's totally a thing that you're told that it does. But I believe from what the warrior told me, because he came to me to confess what he saw, that the thing that rose from the earth like a pustulal sore is what the ancients spoke of as the gates of Nod, a place that opens up to either the place of elves or the place of nightmares. And I fear, because of the nightmare I had that night, that it is the latter, the eviler idea. And when the warrior told me, he looked into this circle of stones with strange signs. He saw the dark moon reflect in the liquid ripple, which tells me that the creatures of nightmare have found a way back into our world. This is a world of creatures of shadow and non-life. And you totally know when he means non-life, like zombies and that kind of thing is what he refers to. Your tribe had a totally different phrase for this, but the Shadowfang clan just calls them non-life, and they are totally verboten. You know, if you see anything undead, it gets smashed by the entire tribe and then lit on fire. It's one of the few times y'all will get together and make a fire, because when in doubt, kill it with fire.
Hey.
Because long ago, your tribe had a dealing with them, and there's no more of them, is all I'm going to say. You know, you were given the strength by the wolf mother or father, depending on who's telling the story, to help get strength and together, and you had weapons of fang, of black like stone fang that allowed you to vanquish the unliving. Not that any of those exist nowadays, because truly they've got to just be, you know, gifts from the god that were given back to the god. Some would say the black fangs of the god were those weapons, and they were returned back to the god's mouth. At least that's the really cool, what you think is a nice showy story interpretation of it. As the shaman basically flips another leather parchment up, and you see a stone circle that looks like 12 rocks that are similar in rectangular shape that make a circle with an arch. And there's very rough depictions of some kind of runic looking symbols. But they're not like written words, because that would be taboo. And basically, the inky darkness with ripples, and there's another picture of something slightly similar but more of an arch instead of a circle, less Stargate, more natural arch with roots coming and mixing with it. And the same circle, you see a beautiful little forest in the picture. So, and he explains that these kind of portals take you to the world of Nod. This is a portal that would take you to the realm of nightmare, where the power known as the throne of nightmares exists, where it is a horrible shadow place where darkness and unlife happens. Creatures come through like the ones that exist in our world, except they are birthed in and carry with them shadow, as if they are darkness itself. Some say the first thing to ever come from the world of nightmare was the god Kalroth, the Shadow Stalker. Others say the creature was birthed into existence from the stories we speak of this, which is why we do not openly speak the stories of the place of nightmare. Child.
What are the? Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask what the stories of the Space of Nightmare were. Could he tell us one?
Oh, and he sits back and tells you this horrible story that the last time he knows of any person of your tribe or not, and basically this is stories told to him by another tribe during a tribal moot where you guys all got together and had a badass party for a couple weeks, that he heard tales from an elf that the place where the elves come from is a place of eternal forest day and joy. And the creatures that come from the throne of nightmares come from a place of eternal night and torment. And the place is of pure chaos where there is no rhyme or reason to the seasons. Whereas in our world, at least, we have the 4 seasons that make sense and cycle. And if you learn to see the signs and patterns, you can learn to predict what will come and what will happen. The place of nightmares, from what he was told by the elf, is a place where there are many kings who seek this place called the throne of nightmares. It is not as much a place, but a position of power. Somehow these chaotic creatures can identify who is currently in control in this nightmare realm. And the many kings and queens of this foul place take turns and make their minions seek whatever their current goal is. It could be that they're a beast that prowls the night. It could be they wish to haunt our nightmares. There are many, many things that these different evil entities can do, but all that we know for sure is they are on power with the most powerful gods, like the Root Father. And if what that hunter says is not just words of a frightful hunter, but actually the truth, and he has found the courage to speak through his fear, we will be in dire times. I can only hope that we've been blessed by one of the God-touched and 2 of the forest walkers to have joined our tribe at this moment. And maybe this, and he kind of like wanders off into some thought as he totally packs his pipe and starts to smoke some of the funny smelling herbals. Maybe this is why Scar was cursed with the curse that he was. Maybe this is why only a cursed one of the blood could vanquish such a darkness. You need to gather your friends. I wish I wish for you to go and see if you can find more information for us. I seek to see if you could perhaps gather your friend Scar and, without mentioning anything to the chieftain, head off to the area where the hunter Korvac said he saw this frightful thing. Unfortunately, his directions seem very haphazard, but it did sound, if you travel south and follow some of the hunter marks, you might find where he was scared and ran off into the darkness. Now that the moon has finished its dark and evil ominous cycle, it should be safe to go in that area, I hope. But alas, I am unsure. As he kind of like sips on his, pipe really, really lavishly, and says, if you find that the portal is there and in fact glowing with dark magic, do not step through it. And beware of anything that comes from that side to this. And return immediately with news for me if that is the case. Do you think you could do this? And he totally passes over his pipe with some of the good tobacco. And it's totally not tobacco.
It's something else.
It will totally give you +1 to a wisdom save, but -1 to a dex save.
Oh.
Thank goodness I can't smoke. I already have a -1 to a dex save.
Is our tree friend staggering? I think he might be.
Of course we can go and get some more information.
Just please be safe. Please do not take any risks. You are too important to our clan to have been lost in the woods in the darkness. The hunter may be of some help if you wish to speak with him, but I fear his blood has run cold when it comes to going back there. He has asked if he can be, put on wood collection duty for the next few days, so he is not put upon his nerve, as I believe something has made his blood run cold. His fears may not be unwarranted.
Yes. Well, guess we both better go talk to that hunter.
Okay, so he totally gives, anybody a puff who wants a puff, and then takes his pipe back. And, basically you can say, he's just going to be busy communing with the spirits in his tent.
That what he calls it.
That's totally what he calls
it. Yep. Right.
As we leave, I'm going to lean over to Ducati and not whisper in her ear, "What are elves?"
Oh, goodness. They're creatures of the dream realm, is where they hail from. They're very tall and sort of graceful.
That sounds fun. Are they fun?
Some might say. Sure.
I hope we get to meet some.
They're certainly different than the people around here.
And you totally know from what he told you about the dark elves, they sound nothing like any elf you've ever heard of.
Right.
They're elves. They must be fun.
Yeah.
Totally.
So should we go talk to the hunter? Do we need to gather our friends? Do we want to split up?
I think we
you
should.
Talk to the hunter, I'll get our friends.
It sounds like a plan. Divide and conquer.
I love it. Let's go conquer our friends.
Okay.
So it's not a big village, so you can easily round up everybody if you're going off to do that. And you guys know the hunter. I mean, he's a tribesman of yours, so you totally know which one of the huts he's probably convalescing over his cowardice at. Because he got the look of shame from the chieftain, and the chieftain just gave him the sus look of, really, shadow monster, really.
Pussy.
Yikes.
And you didn't bring back a single scar for proof.
And you lost a spear.
Oh.
So you head on over to the hut where he's at, and you see, the orc. He's he's a younger warrior. He's not like veteran warrior, but he's of the younger persuasions. As you see, he's totally sitting there drinking some of the hagooch that he must have stole a clay pot, and he's swigging out of the clay pot from it.
Oh boy.
As you just see, he's visibly shooken up. I mean, no insight needed. He is trembling with whatever's going on in his head right now.
Oh.
See, they started self-medication way back in those days, even.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was there any implication that we were going to be leaving today?
Nope. Basically, the way he was asking is just that you guys will look into it. So there was no like pack up and go out right now. He did imply that the evil moon is gone, which will be gone for many days. So there's no real rush. Don't you hate it that I can't say exactly 21 days?
Yeah, exactly. many times.
Many, and a little bit.
many and two.
407 years ago.
Hey, we're allowed to say that.
It's all under the count of 9, so you can get away with it.
There you go.
Someone just needs to write in the sand an X that is the Roman numeral 10, and hellhounds appear.
Oh no. That's a double taboo.
Yeah. You see the fact he is shook up. He is basically got it is a warm spring day, and he's got a hide wrapped around his shoulders to try to keep him warm from a chill that obviously is not there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason I ask is because I'd like to approach him and lay a hand on his shoulder and cast heroism on him to sort of imbue him with a little bit, restore a little bit of the bravery that maybe he lost from this fright.
Ooh, and what does that spell do? Is he gives you a nod as you come in, as he's just like, yeah, I'm shaking because I'm cold.
Uh-huh.
And he will not resist in the least having you give him a comforting hand that all of a sudden flows with extra oomph.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, mechanically, he's immune to being frightened and gains some temp HP, equal to spellcasting ability modifier, so 3.
And as soon as you do that, you see a distinct snap in his personality. It went from here he is, drunkenly drinking booze to try to forget what he saw, actually trembling but pretending to be chilly. And then all of a sudden, as soon as you pump this magic into him, and by the way, what does it look like when you do the spell?
Oh, good question. I think maybe she just kind of like hums a tune.
Okay. You hum a tune of bravery and heroism, reminds you of stories of warriors both past doing heroic acts. And as soon as you touch him and the spell pops, immediately he looks up at you, and for a second there seemed to be like this frightful terror in his eyes. To immediately his eyes get stern and strong, and he gives you the nod. You know that nod, that warrior to warrior nod. And he stands up very abruptly, and the skin he was using as a cloak just drops to the ground as his chest puffs up. And he looks at you, and immediately the opposite arm from the one you put your hand on his shoulder and touched it, he puts his hand on your shoulder and gives it a very robust squeeze, and he shakes the shoulder and gives you the thank you. You are more than just our chancellor. You are also a warrior, and you have reminded me that I have the blood of the Shadowfangs, just as you are a member of the Shadowfangs. Thank you for reminding me who I am. And this is like a total night and day, instantaneously snap in personality. He is completely over whatever PTSD inducing moment he saw. And he just looks at you like he's giving you the hard stare, not in an angry or mean way, but like a powerful warrior looking another one in the eyes.
Just returning what you temporarily lost, speeding up the process.
He just gives you, he totally sticks his chin out in a proud way as he just nods. Thank you for returning to my heart with the dangers of the veil stole.
I believe me and other tribe members would benefit from some more information about what you saw out there. If you could come and impart it on us.
As he kind of sheepishly looks away for a second over at the where he placed down the clay pot of booze, and he says, the chief said I should not speak of this. Did the shaman send you to speak with me? He wanted me to tell the entire tribe my story.
Oh, yes, the shaman did send us, actually.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, fun. Okay.
A little bit of liberty with that interpretation, but sure.
Yeah.
It's mostly true.
Yeah.
Mostly.
And you made him brave, so he trusts you implicitly.
Good thing for that advantage, because one of them wasn't that one. That would not have been good. But it's a 16.
16?
Yeah.
He immediately looks at you and says, as long as it is not the entire campfire, I think the chief would not begrudge me telling my tale. He said that he believed me at my words, but he did not want me to cause a panic.
No, yes. Just only 4. 4 members.
He's totally counting on his hand. 2, 3, 4.
Figure it out.
1,
Yeah, and
2,
I'll
3 lot, or 1, 2 more lots.
Yeah.
There you go.
As he
go to
totally, goes over and gets his little sack of stuff, wraps it around his waist in fanny pack style, and says, I will go with you. Which
cool.
friends will we be? Which tribes members will we be speaking with?
Barkley, Scar, and Pride Tree.
Ah, I will be honored to tell them the story.
Yeah. I'll bring him over to wherever they ended up after we gathered them.
Y'all know where you guys usually spend your downtime, since you all live together in a tribe. It's not like it's that big of a place.
Nope.
Right.
So
Cool.
where is it are you wanting to meet with him? Like somewhere that's more private than not? Off in the woods?
Yeah, probably more private since he was, the chief told him not to tell everyone.
And you guys know that there's a safe, distance around the camp that you guys can go to where it's, shouldn't be too dangerous. You guys, people are going out in the woods constantly getting wood and things, so it's fairly safe. There's quite a few nice little quiet places to go to.
Q.
Nice. Yeah.
So you guys all meet up with him?
Yep.
Yep.
And he gladly passes around his little clay pot of hooch so everybody can have a sip. Not that he needs the courage, but why waste an open gourd of, booze?
Right.
Once opened, it must be finished.
That's the rule.
These are the tribal rules. One does not open the clay pot and then reseal it, because that's how people get sick of this stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Botulism.
I mean, we can absorb liquids.
I suppose. I don't know what.
Pour it into the
No
roots.
real effect, though. I don't think, but.
But we got to try.
And he regales you guys with the tale of he went off on a 3-day hunt, which, Scar, you totally remember when the warriors went off, and how he got separated. Yep. And on the middle of the night, he was being stalked by what really does, in the tales he's regaling. Let me see just how good of a religion he's giving when he's regaling these tales. It is spot on that he is being, saying that he is giving you the skinny, that the dark god of evil huntingness was hunting my ass. And if it wasn't the dark god itself, it had to be like one of its alleged children. Because he talks about how every time he would turn and look, well, the bravery's not hurting either. He's bravely retelling the tale with this new refound courage of how it chased him through the entire night until he looked up at the moment of high moon, which, it's when the moons are usually highest in the sky, about 1 o'clock-ish at night if it was in the real world. And then he saw the earth vomit forth this circle of stones that started to glow and then filled with, it looked like a droplet of water striking the pond surface, but made of inky blackness. And as he says it with that natural 20, he all of a sudden remembers some details that he didn't recall. In that, all of a sudden he takes a swig and says, I think there was someone else out there. I think, and you guys all get the total flashback, woolly, 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 as you see the orc warrior running through these black woods of pitch black darkness, but in just his gray night vision, showing him, how not to die in a tree running through the woods like that. And he stops and turns, and you see the ring of these runes in the stone come rolling up out of the earth. I mean, literally, it's like a boil or a pimple popped, and these stones come popping up. And the second the runes look up at the moon and the moon looks back down at the runes, there's a droplet effect, and pitch blackness starts. And as his vision kind of pans back, you totally see that in the distance, there's a small form hunched over in a cloak made of some kind of velvety black material. You totally think it's probably like panther hide or one of the horrible monster hides that look like black panther skin with the hide attached. And the small crouched figure looks almost to your eyes as if it was a orc child in height. And all of a sudden, the figure takes a dagger out and slices its palm and flicks towards the portal. Obviously, it looks like blood flying out, and the blood hits the portal. And all of a sudden, there's some like weird vibrations in the liquid. And then the hunter turns and flees like nobody's business. And you can see as even though he's been reinforced and he's not frightful, his chest starts heaving when he's telling this part of the story. If he just kept running and running and running, and he basically passed out while running. And then when he woke up, he began running again to get back to the village in time. And you basically realize, you look down at his feet, see that his feet take some damage. And he's unable to give you a perfect reckoning, but more of a head 3 days this way than 1 day that way. Or see if you can find my trail running back here, which that could be a thing too.
We don't really have a tracker, but
Don't hunters track?
You could try to convince him to go back.
Jeez.
I mean, he is currently emboldened. I mean, he feels his braveness.
And how long will that last?
Well, technically a minute,
Just
but
1
the
minute.
initial, the big effect, but
And until
it
your
clears
chanter
everything,
stops thinking about the song, and then it will stop.
Yeah. So a dark moon rising, is it anything like a bad moon rising?
It's totally like a bad moon rising.
Okay. Oh, we had a little Credence playing in the background there for music.
You have a chanter.
All right.
You guys want to try to convince him to take you back to where you found it, rather than bumbling through the moving forest yourselves?
Yeah, I'll do a persuasion. I can try persuading him.
Orc warrior to orc warrior.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, try to convince him he's got to make up for his
Little homie on homie.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro.
All out his cowardice. Yeah,
Wow.
apparently it's meant to be. As he basically looks at you, and with the puffed upness, you guys totally see this whole orc macho dude on orc macho dude moment, where he's just like thumping his chest like, hey, I am no coward. Even though we all know he ran away. I will go back and take you to this place of darkness. So you too can see that the stalker of the night resides there, and that no good will come of that dark place.
This place is cursed.
Gar, when would you like me ready?
What time of day is it?
About now. It's a little in the afternoonish.
Should we wait till tomorrow morning?
I'd say yeah.
Leave in the morning,
Probably
so we can prepare.
Makes sense.
Get the proper
find the spot,
supplies.
be ready instead of showing up there in the dark unprepared.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it takes days, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he could have ran around in circles for a while and didn't know how far he went.
This
True.
could be a thing, because remember, he did spend, after he was encountering the beast, just running at random, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he will have advantage following his trail, but he still will have to find his trail and realize, what the fuck happened to me that night? So you guys basically spend
we've passed that tree 5 times.
So did he.
Right there is where I soiled myself and then stepped in it 4 different times. So you guys basically keep it down on the down low that you're going to be heading out? Or are you guys going to tell anybody?
I'm not.
I probably would talk about it because I'm excited.
Well, my character's trying to prove himself, so he probably wouldn't say anything.
He's going to do that cocky teenager thing to go out and do it himself, and, stand by me moment.
Bring back a trophy.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to tell anyone not to say anything?
Probably not.
Well, nobody told us that it was anything that we weren't supposed to tell anybody. Nobody said the chief said or anything. So as far as at least I know, so I'm like, but I mean, don't see a reason to talk about it. So
didn't the shaman say to keep it quiet, or am I remembering that wrong?
The shaman did say to keep it quiet.
Oh,
yeah. But at this point, I didn't hear her tell us that. So I mean,
yeah, I haven't heard anything.
And I'm excited and forgot, unless I get told not to say anything.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just not a chatter about things. If anything, I might tell the birds and the crickets or something. But
wait till the cricket lands on your shoulder and starts chirping.
Right?
Cricket friend, I'm going on an adventure.
Like in Pinocchio.
So if, as I look at Chris, if anyone is going to say anything to any of the tribe members that day, who are you going to tell it to?
First person he runs into walking around.
Yeah. I get to go on an adventure. Maybe I'll go back and tell the fishermen while they're fishing.
Oh, no.
You go back, and as you're telling them that, they're just like, that's nice.
Yeah,
as they all look at each other, kind of like, okay. I mean, we thought you'd stay with us longer, but if you have an adventure, you should do what your heart sings.
So I'm going with Scar and the cow and Prytree and all of us, and we're going to find the portal.
As they just give you this look, like, oh, okay, good, be safe. We'll have
and
plenty
maybe
of
we'll
food.
meet. And maybe we'll meet elves.
Elves, ha ha ha, elves. And they seem rather dismissive, and they're just like, when you leave, we will have good fishing, and we'll have many fish ready for you if you'd like them.
I like fish friends, so yeah, catch a bunch that I can talk to.
Oh, well.
As you guys, we get this montage of a regular day in the camp. You guys, it ends with when the sun goes down, everybody gathers around the campfire, because that is the center of town, basically. As stories are told, everybody's, talking about how when we were fishing, I caught one this big, and it's an exaggeration, because none of y'all seen any fish that big in that pond. I mean, that's why you guys fish in it, because it's not that dangerous. And is our chanter going to tell any tales of any real or made-up stories?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Now the question is it a real historic story, or are you going to make something up with deception?
I think.
I mean, I would also like to do persuasion.
Real with embellishment.
Yeah. I think that she'll tell one that is sort of in the middle, like one of those things that's sort of accepted as legend, but whether or not the facts of it historically actually match up with the way that it's been embellished are exactly true.
Okay. Go ahead and give me either performance or history for that.
Oh, I'll definitely do performance. For sure. 10 plus 5, 15.
15? Basically, around the campfire, everyone is enthralled by the story. Of course, everybody's like, cheering the chanter on of giving the stories around the campfire.
I was going to give food accompaniment.
So,
love the flute.
Yeah, not so much.
You totally get this Peter and the Wolf flute play. Is there any moral, by the way, to your story that you're pushing? And pushing is
I
probably
think,
too rough of a word.
man, I guess with that news, even though it hasn't spread yet, I mean, it's not a very big clan. It probably will. So maybe just one of like sanctity in community and keeping the clan fire bright and like keeping one another close.
Aww.
Yeah.
Got some
Warm and
Disney
fuzzy.
family values going here. I like it. As you know, everybody has a good night, and folks start parceling off and going to sleep, and you guys, get ready to call it a night. And as you all go to sleep, before getting ready to pack up for tomorrow, everybody give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, well,
Boy. Okay.
Since I have that was my dump stat.
Oh no.
I thought.
Do I get
intelligence
advantage?
was?
No, that's my other character.
Oh, that's right.
I made this one a little smarter. My scout is the one that's not so bright.
Yep.
Because he kind of needed the wisdom for perception and.
Yeah.
You wanted to be able to notice danger.
Yes.
Is that everybody?
That's everybody. So.
As for this character, he is an orc.
Fried Tree, first off, with the best of the rolls there. You have it's weird. It's one of the first times you've had what you could only attribute to what the orcs call a night terror. It's a slight dream. It's not too horrifying for you because you can basically distinguish this is not real. Of some black flames licking at your arms and face, and the trees are bursting into flames, and the trees that don't burn in this blackish fire, really cool special effects, makes it look like the dark saber, either get completely destroyed or chopped down, or worse, they become infected with some inky black sap. And they kind of like, it's totally like a Halloween World version of a tree where it goes from being a tree to all of a sudden angry face with skeletal hands for branches with black goop coming out of the eye holes and the mouth holes.
And you rolled high.
And that was a good roll. So
yeah, that was a good roll.
Yeah.
Yikes! That's pretty disturbing, especially for my character.
What happened with my character with the 9?
Not promising.
And then Barkley, you get something similar, just a little more. You sap yourself a little more, with perspiration of these, horrible worst case scenario of fires. And you see, your tribesmen here burning or being stabbed with something that leaves black welts on them that grow and turn them into dark-skinned abominations. And then comes the
you have a sap dream.
The two fills.
So, needless to say, our orc warrior, you have the worst night terror of your life.
Oof.
In fact, the night sleep does not give you a long rest. Good thing you're in pretty good shape. But you actually wake up and give a god awful shriek as the worst case nightmare ever happens to you. And the theme that you're involved in is basically being stalked and hunted, as well as everyone you love being murdered and unable to protect them.
Yikes.
And then what's worse is you feel that your curse is what's brought this down amongst your people.
Of course I do.
Oh.
As the last thing in the nightmare before you wake up screaming at the top of your lungs, as you see the campfire burning, and then the flames go from orange and red to black and white, and the flame just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. And as it shrinks, the circle of darkness gets closer and closer and closer until all of a sudden it wicks out, and you scream when this wall of darkness slams into you, knocking you to the dark in the dark. And like many people are awoken by this scream.
Man.
It wasn't me. I don't sound like that.
And Cootie immediately follows suit with the scream. As the two of you give out this at separate sleeping rolls, a simultaneous, the exact moment scream at high pitch as you have the same dream, except in yours, you feel yourself being dragged back by the horns by two dark-skinned, elven-looking creatures through the portal. And the last thing you see is the inky blackness as they go stepping forward, and it blips, and then you get pulled into the inky darkness and everything goes black.
Oh, well.
Taken from your new home.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
And there just happens to be around the village about 4 other shrieks out at random from different folks. But the absolutely terrifying thing is all the screams happen exactly at the same moment. So it's not just like one person having a bad dream or finding a scorpion in your bedroll. Everyone is screaming bloody murder at the exact same time. And it happens to be right at high moon.
I don't know that bird sound. What was that?
Okay, well, so maybe nobody noticed me screaming then.
And as you guys have that scream, that's going to be a good place to wrap it up there.
Sounds good.
And that way you can make any preparations you want, as the hunter will escort you back there. And believe it or not, let's see. The hunter was also one of the ones to scream, except he just rolled a natural 1.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really bad night.
Uh-oh.
Something's
Did he have
gonna
a heart
seem
attack in his
wrong
sleep?
with him.
No, literally. Cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
When you guys will see him in the morning, you'll notice the hunter doesn't have that bravado of bravery, but he has big sunken saddlebags under his eyes, and his eyes are bloodshot and not in the crazy good orc way. And he's developed a bit of a twitch.
Maybe you shouldn't be drinking so much.
Bruh.
He was drunk on false bravado, and when denied it at his moment of weakness, he rolled a 1.
Man.
Here he's going to be a great sidekick.
It was a bad gourd. It had a crack in it.
It lost its vacuum
bad
seal.
Hooch.
Bad hooch.
Somebody said there was a bad hooch rising.
That or it had a worm in it.
Okay. I am so out of here after that one.
Now, I hope everyone gets to sleep okay and nobody has any nightmares.
Right, thanks.
Yeah.
And I will see you all on the 20th of January.
Send us off with nightmares. Great.
Yeah, perfect.
Later, guys.
Later. Thank
Night,
you.
all.
Good night.
Have a good night, guys. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Everything should be fine. We've only discovered the Freddy Krueger of the world. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great night. We will be back in 2 weeks. And that's actually kind of funny. The music on Roll20 finally kicked in. If you guys are interested, head on over to Patreon to check out our session 0 with this group when we had our chats of making everybody's characters. And join in on some of the conversations. We've got our monthly calendar for January out there of what games are happening on what nights, if you want to give that a look-see. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up at creativeplaypodcastnet@gmail.com or hit us up over on Facebook over at Creative Flame Podcast Network. And definitely check out our YouTube channel. We have a lot of our previous campaigns all set out there for you guys to watch because they're now complete, so you might as well give them all a good binge in one shot. As well as we've got the podcast now posting on YouTube as well. So if you check out D&D Journey the 5th edition, it will be on the YouTube as well, but with just a static picture, nothing too fancy. As well as Creative Flame Podcast Network and Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Also, on the note of Ragnarok and Roll, we have started a new Midgard campaign that's going to be getting posted on there. It's basically using the Genesis system, but it is a good rendition of the Age of Vikings in the Francia area when they're going after Paris. So that could be a fun little thing to put as a mini campaign on Ragnarok and Roll, so we have something going. Because we are still trying to find a campaign group to get together and play some more Scion. It is a very difficult game to play over Roll20, so we tried to get it in person. And sadly, we've had many attempts that only made it like 3 or 4 sessions before we had to wrap up. And I just didn't want to post a campaign that didn't make it past, failure to launch of session 5, which is my sweet spot for start posting. And if you guys have any questions, please hit us up over at Patreon, over at Gmail, or on Facebook. Alrighty, guys, have a good night. We've made it to 2025. Thank you for being with us. And it has been a roller coaster of a 2024, but we are here for 2025, and we are going to rock it like the Casbah. Have a good night, guys.